How to go vegan, step-by-step guide from a fitness coach. I could never do that. This is the answer I mostly hear from people once I've told them that I'm a vegan. And the truth is, I thought the same way before. I've eaten meat my entire life, like most people. Maybe I even overdid it a little bit. I've followed the typical bodybuilding diet. Rice and chicken with nearly every meal. This sometimes resulted in over 1 kilogram of meat a day. This is not what I would consider a healthy meal nowadays. But I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have cared if someone told me so back then. It's now over 2 years that I became a vegan and I haven't looked back. If you want to know more about how I stay energetic being a vegan, check out my other article, How a Vegan Diet Keeps Me Energized. Mentally sharp and full of drive. But here in this post, I will tell you what going vegan really means. Why it matters to you and the exact steps to take to become a vegan. Rather than think of veganism as an identity, it makes the most sense to use it as a concept that inspires you to remove animal products from your life. Sometimes, it's not fully clear whether a given food or cosmetics ingredient comes from animals. But you will get used to it pretty fast. A vegetarian diet is commonly understood to forbid meat and fish, but to allow both eggs and dairy. The word vegan takes this concept to the next level, cutting out every item of animal origin. Vegan refers to anything that's free of animal products, no meat, milk, eggs, wool, leather, honey and so forth. Increasing the well-being of animals through the avoidance of their consumption, possibly a no-brainer. Bettering your health by minimizing the exposure to possible pathogens, such as red meat, which is a known Group 1 carcinogen. Helping the planet by reducing your environmental footprint through the reduced CO2 emission and methane, which livestock, especially cows, produce. No matter the degree to which you ultimately embrace the vegan concept, it makes sense to begin your transition by emphasizing dietary choices. Because the overwhelming majority of animal use associated with your life almost certainly arises from your food choices. You may not believe me when I tell you that. But I love the taste of meat. I'm not going to lie. I remember telling a friend of mine after going vegan that I'm just trying this vegan thing out and that I'll probably have to eat a Big Mac again soon and treat myself. I was the guy eating chicken and rice out of the Tupperware, while everyone was enjoying the cafeteria lunch at work. My mother worried about me. Because while everyone was busy eating dinner in our family home, I was the only one standing in the kitchen, cooking my bland turkey. I used to write down everything that I ate. I still have my MyFitnessPal entries from back then. Looking at them nowadays is shocking. 500 grams of low-fat quark at 5 a.m. in the morning. 1 kilogram of unseasoned chicken on a daily basis. If you want to know the honest reason why I went vegan, the true reason for this dramatic shift, here it is. My girlfriend at that time gifted me a book called Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. After devouring the book in less than a week and going through the following weeks of denial, I finally decided to slowly transform into becoming a vegetarian. After reading such horrific stories about the daily lives of animals in factory farms, it seemed like a logical next step for me. In retrospect, it probably was the combination of love and the hero syndrome. I always wanted to be the one that does the right thing, even if everyone was against it. While I was contemplating if I should go vegan, I felt like Neo in the Matrix, choosing between living life with the bliss of ignorance or living life facing the brutality of reality. After making the decision to go vegan, to take the red pill, everyone in my social circle thought that I was going crazy. You will lose all your muscles. This can't be healthy, and you won't last longer than 2 weeks. Were things that I heard on a regular basis. If I wouldn't have informed me thoroughly, I wouldn't have been able to withstand all this negative criticism with facts and data. If I wouldn't amass the right knowledge before going vegan, I would have spitted out the red pill within a month. Or as in the Matrix, what a great coincidence, ate a traitorous steak. I've made a couple $1,000s with cryptocurrencies in the last year. Most people that I know have sold their cryptos for a loss or a minuscule profit. Because when the crisis hit, everyone has sold their stakes, disregarding the enormous potential behind it. What made me able to make money of Ethereum and Bitcoin and co. was my knowledge behind the structures of the cryptocurrencies, the potential of the blockchain, smart contracts and the problems in the financial markets that it might be able to solve. I've gained this advantage by reading a simple book. Until now this might have seemed like a far stretch from veganism. But you have to realize that in the life that we live in, There are very few things that are more important than knowledge. A long-term transition to a healthier diet can be recommended to everyone in my opinion. But if you fit into one of these categories, you should not follow a complete vegan diet right now. Suffering from a severe mental or physical illness, where your doctor is actively advising against following a vegan diet. If you fit into the previously listed categories, a drastic switch is not recommended in this moment as the short-term stress might harm you or others around you. If you still feel unsure whether or not you are fitted for the plant-based nutrition, visit a competent physician near you. You can find plant-based doctors in your area by visiting plantbaseddoctors.org. I wrote down a step-by-step plan for you to slowly get drawn into this vegan journey. Before you know it, you're already in a good routine. You see me talking a lot about your why. I can't stress this one enough. Asking yourself why is so important. You have to know yourself. Not just if you want to become a vegan, but if you want to live a good life. Introspection is a crucial skill that you have to develop. These questions will show you your motivations and give you a glimpse of who you really are. They will also make achieving your goals much easier. My biggest why was simply my urgent need to live a life of self-control and integrity. I have a strong need to simply do what is right. After reading the book Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer, I first tried to reject the information and forget what I've just read. But every freaking time I've eaten a chicken, I've felt guilty and shameful. I knew that eating meat would give me a lot of pleasure. But I also knew that one's own primitive needs shouldn't outweigh one's morals and principles. I mean, otherwise you could justify rape. You have to change your mindset to the point when you realize that instant gratification should not be the epitome of your life. This shouldn't sound woo-woo. But start to look at the big picture. You need to know what you're talking about when you're becoming a vegan. Whenever you're swimming against the stream, you will, by the laws of physics, face resistance. The only way to withstand this resistance is by preparation. Next to reading my articles on Lifehack and visiting my YouTube channel, I advise you to read the following books. These books alone will give you more knowledge about healthy nutrition than 99% of the general population. The big three are: How Not to Die, a book with over 2,400 5-star reviews on Amazon. How to Prevent Our Leading Causes of Death with Nutrition. All proceeds from the book go to charity. Eating Animals, The Ethics Behind Eating Animals. As the book title says, the one book that made me go vegan. The China Study, a book about the most comprehensive study ever done on the relation of diet and human health. A second book on health. As the biggest argument you will get into regarding veganism will be about the health aspects. After foolproofing yourself with the necessary knowledge, your main goal should be to set a new standard. And the only way you're setting a new standard in the long term is by making a sustainable transition. Eating plant-based is normal for me. I don't feel restricted in any way. Veganism means living a more natural and ethical life for me. My diet is full of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, plant milks, seeds and beans. I don't wear fur nor any other animal skin. Not because I don't have to, but because I don't want to. I mean, I'd rather consider the place where I live, love and laugh a garden, not a cemetery. Going vegan also means saying no to immediate gratification and taking a look at the bigger picture. Going vegan signals self-control. By going vegan, you're setting your own gratification aside for the bigger picture. Be it for your health, the planet or the animals. You're setting priorities and you show that you live a life of principles. People often tell me that they have never eaten anything vegan, which is of course complete bullocks. If you've ever eaten a banana, you've eaten vegan food. Chances are you're already eating vegan to a pretty high degree. To find out to what degree, write down how your current eating habits look like. This may be tedious, but this is golden. What do you eat from breakfast to dinner? Once you've figured out what you're currently eating, you can think about how you can better your eating habits. To make keeping track of your daily diet easily, I recommend you to use the app MyFitnessPal. It's free and easy to use. Instead of advising people to stop eating what they're currently eating, I like to advise them that they should simply eat more of the good stuff. Research has shown that people even lose more weight when they're advised to eat more veggies instead of being advised to eat less sweets. If you're eating brown rice, broccoli and chicken for lunch right now, I'll advise you to simply double the portion size of your broccoli and rice, while keeping the chicken portion the same size. After some time you'll crave healthier and healthier foods. making it far easier to eat good nutrition. You've developed a habit before you know it. If you want to know more about vegan foods, check out my other article that gives you 40 plus vegan recipes ideas. After you've analyzed your eating habits, highlight the meals where you're currently eating non-veggie meals containing meat, dairy, honey and cheese. Buy vegan alternative foods for these meals. Nowadays these vegan foods can be found in nearly every supermarket. It's absolutely easy to find alternatives. Like cheese on your pizza. Guess what? There are vegan alternatives for it. Always liked eating grill ribs. Yes, there are vegan grill ribs available. I'm not joking. The possibilities are nearly endless. This is the last and hardest part. I don't advise you to throw your current clothes away. Instead, I'll advise you to buy ethical new clothes. Pay special attention when buying jackets and shoes. You want to stay clear from wool and leather. The shoes are usually the trickiest part to find while being a vegan. Here's a guide on your shoes, which are probably the hardest clothes to buy vegan. Going vegan can be easier than you might think if you simply follow these proven steps. Even if it may be challenging at some point. In the end, swallowing the red pill will be worth it. Trust me. Mark McManus. Mark is a personal trainer who specializes in coaching people on how to build muscle the scientific way. Read full profile. Spare tire. Love handles. Muffin top. Pot belly. All somewhat comical terms for belly fat. Most people don't like having that extra flab around their midsections. But we tend to just put up with it because we haven't learned how to lose belly fat. Many have tried some diet or bought a video on how to do a perfect crunch. But there is too much conflicting advice out there. Also, many people have tried and failed. So giving it another go just seems so daunting. Take heart. Because there is a truly effective strategy to lose stomach fat. But you may have to loosen up some old preconceptions. It's important to note that. In this article, I will specifically talk about fat loss as opposed to overall weight loss. Fat, muscle, and water. The strategy involves both diet and exercise. Nothing new there. However, it entails two unique ways of going about it. If you put your mind to it, it's completely possible to learn how to lose stomach fat and start working toward the body you want. The key here is to become a fat and protein burner if you want to learn how to lose stomach fat fast. Low carbohydrate nutrition is one of the most effective ways of shedding pounds of fat from the body. If you eat what most government guidelines recommend you eat, you are a carb burner. It then becomes obvious that, in order to become a fat burner, you should reduce the current primary energy source, i.e., carbohydrates. When you do this, your body takes a few days to flip a metabolic switch and become a fat burning machine. At that point, the fat you eat gets consumed first. And then you start burning away. Body fat is your primary source of energy. Obviously, you shouldn't consume copious amounts of fat. And you won't even need to switch to a zero-carb diet to benefit. Anything under 100 grams of carbs a day is considered low-carb, but ideally under 60 grams would produce great results. On low-fat diets, which by nature are high-carb diets, when your food calories are gone, the body will burn a mixture of both fat and muscle tissue protein. As muscle mass is metabolically active, it burns calories all day long just by being there. Losing it is a disaster for the dieter as their metabolism will continually slow down over time. This is one of the main reasons why low-fat diets very often produce temporary results. You lose weight for a while. But then it stops working, as your metabolism has crashed. And you experience weight gain, all you had lost and then some. There are several ways to lower your carb intake and start losing fat by making fairly simple changes to your diet. Here are just a few ideas to try when you want to learn how to lose belly fat. If you chose a random sample of people on any given day in the US, you would find that at least half of them drink sugary drinks on any given day. 25% would be receiving about 200 calories per day from such drinks. One can of Coca-Cola contains nearly 40 grams of carbohydrates. Remember above where we said 60 was ideal? Well, drink one can of soda and you're nearly there. Cutting drinks with added sugar from your diet can do wonders to help you reduce your carb intake. Replace it with unsweetened tea or water for a hydration boost. When you order a meal at a restaurant, most of the default sides are potatoes, French fries, mashed potatoes, etc., or bread. These are both packed with carbs. A standard small order of French fries contains around 30 grams of carbs, that bumps up to around 50 for a medium order. Instead of going with the default sides, ask for vegetables. There is usually a steamed broccoli or mixed veggies option at most restaurants. Healthy eating is key if you want to reduce carbs. One serving of whole milk contains nearly 13 grams of carbs due to the presence of lactose, a type of sugar. On the contrary, a serving of unsweetened soy milk only contains about 3 grams of carbs. Try switching out the milk you use for your cereal or in your coffee. The flavor will be a bit different. So give yourself time to adjust to it. Low-carb diet works for many people, but it might not be for everyone. The key is always to see which one works for you best. And it's always a good idea to check with your doctor before making major changes to your diet. The above suggestion and explanation hopefully can provide you a new perspective and approach to get rid of your belly fat. Just give it a try and listen to your body's reaction. The most important question here is whether you should focus on cardio or interval training if you're trying to learn how to lose belly fat. Overdoing cardiovascular exercise will also put your body in a state where it breaks down lean muscle tissue catabolism. So, the question is, how do we complement our fat-burning nutritional strategy with fat-burning physical activity? It's called interval training, or, more specifically, high-intensity interval training, HIIT. The idea is to perform some sort of cardio in fits and starts, i.e., a period of lower intensity followed by a period of higher intensity. Research shows that this type of work burns more fat than steady-state cardio, typically by about 50%. In fact, one study showed a 9-fold increase in fat loss for HIIT compared to low-medium intensity cardio. Furthermore, a 2018 study discovered that HIIT was superior to moderate-intensity continuous training for improving heart rate variability. The even better news is that, when you're looking into how to lose belly fat, HIIT need only be performed for 10 to 20 minutes at a time. There are several elements of HIIT workouts, as well as several approaches to them. Here are just a couple of things to keep in mind. Tabata is a common HIIT formula, and it's great for beginners. This involves 20 seconds of work and 10 seconds of rest. You should shoot for 4 minutes, or 8 rounds. You can use this to target the part of your body you want to tone. HIIT is a great fat burner, but it's a lot for the body. So try to shoot for 2 to 3 HIIT workouts per week. If you want to exercise every day, switch it out for cardio or strength training in between. If you want to add an extra layer to your HIIT workout, feel free to add weights. You can include ankle weights if you want to increase leg strength, for example. However, don't do this at the very beginning. Give yourself a few weeks to adjust to the HIIT style of workout before adding in more. Hopefully you can see that these unique approaches to diet and nutrition will work synergistically to produce truly effective fat loss by. The best way to lose stomach fat is to put your diet and nutrition to work. You'll be amazed by how quickly you're able to work toward your ideal body. Harvard Th. Chan, Sugary Drinks Fat Secret, Carbs in French Fries Nutrition Data, Milk. Whole Everyday Health, all about soy milk, nutrition, benefits, risks, and how it compares with other milks. Metabolism, clinical and experimental, impact of exercise intensity on body fatness and skeletal muscle metabolism. International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, the effects of high-intensity interval training versus moderate-intensity continuous training on heart rate variability in physically inactive adults. Adaptive, how to tackle HIIT workouts as a beginner. Mark is a personal trainer who specializes in coaching people on how to build muscle the scientific way. Text source, lifehack.org.